What's going on, YouTube? Welcome to Fresh Review. If you're new to the channel, what we do here is review each and every single WWE Premium Live event. Now, we are a little bit behind, went on a nice little hiatus, but we are back, and we have WWE Backlash for you guys. So, for total transparency, I am all the way caught up on WWE as you guys watch this, and the plan is to get a video out every Saturday and Wednesday. We normally do these videos every Wednesday, call them Wrestling Wednesdays, but I want to try to catch up because I seen the most recent WWE PLE, and that was Night of Champions in Saudi Arabia, and Evolution is right around the corner. So I want to get all the way caught up before we go into those Evolution and stuff, so I'm not too far behind. But without further ado, let's dive into the first match of Backlash, and that was for the United States Championship. It was a continuation of the builds at WrestleMania, where Jacob Fatu defeated LA Knight to become the United States Champion, and then Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest were also added into this match to make it a fatal four-way. And how the matches were at WrestleMania pretty much is how the matches started here. You got McIntyre and Priest. They started trading blows at ringside. In the center of the ring, we got Fatu and LA Knight. They started trading strikes. Now, Fatu goes for a splash in the corner, but Knight evades that, then connects with a net breaker. Knight connects with a slingshot shoulder block to Fatu, then scoop slams McIntyre. LA Knight goes for an elbow drop, but Priest grabs Knight's throat and attempts a South to Heaven choke slam. Knight escapes and plants Priest with a DDT, so Knight starts off this match super hot. Knight delivers a double elbow drop to both McIntyre and Priest simultaneously. Fatu goes for the pop-up Samoan drop, but Knight counters that into a death drop. Fatu kicks out at 1. Knight and Priest work together to ram Fatu into the ring post. That takes Fatu out of action for a while. McIntyre launches Knight across the ring with an overhead belly-to-belly suplex, then plants Priest with a spine buster. Now McIntyre starts getting his offense in. McIntyre delivers a net breaker to all three opponents, then does a patented kip up. Drew goes for a claymore to Fatu, but Knight intercepts Drew with a clothesline. Priest gives Fatu a hurricanrana from the top rope. Priest, I'd say all four of these guys, for their size, LA Knight, Priest, Drew, and Fatu, they move really well for their size. So, like I said, Priest gives Fatu a hurricanrana from the top rope. And then Priest goes for old school on the Fatu. But instead of hitting Fatu with a clubbing blow to the back, he sees that McIntyre is about to get up. So he jumps off, he calls an audible, and lands a crossbody onto McIntyre. This is very creative. A little neat, innovative spot here. Now Priest turns Fatu inside out with a clothesline. Then clotheslines McIntyre out of the ring. Priest goes for a running attack, but Fatu pops up Samoan, drops him onto the barricade. Fatu and McIntyre exchange strikes in the center of the ring. Fatu wins the exchange with a pop-up Samoan drop, then follows that up with a running hip attack. Now, McIntyre goes for a superplex to Fatu, but Knight places McIntyre upside down, and that position is called the Trio Woe, where they got their legs on the top turnbuckle and their heads on the bottom turnbuckle. Got them, basically got him in the 69 position. Shout out to Drizzy Drake, the 69 guy, but nevertheless. McIntyre is upside down. Now, Knight stomps a mud hole into McIntyre in the corner while he's upside down. But then Knight goes to the top rope. He tries to superplex Fatu, but Fatu shoves Knight off the top rope. McIntyre then does a sit-up to get back up from the upside down position, and then launches Fatu overhead belly-to-belly style off the top rope and onto Knight. It basically looked like a swanton bomb that Fatu gave the Knight, while McIntyre had the strength to make it look like overhead belly-to-belly suplex. Very creative spot here. I thought one of the best spots of the night. Definitely probably the best spot of the match. And we'll get to another spot that a lot of people might think is the best one later. But after that, Fatu follows that up with another running hip attack to McIntyre, because Fatu kind of just ate it since it's a swanton bomb. He didn't really have to sell it. No, Fatu kind of no-sell some stuff anyways, but that one kind of did make sense. But he follows that up with a running hip attack to McIntyre, plus a suicide dive on the Priest. This man Fatu is on cloud 9 right now. He's going crazy. And what I love so much about this match, it started off with LA Knight getting his offense in, then it went to Drew McIntyre, then Damian Priest, now it's on Fatu, who's going crazy. So everybody's getting their moments to shine here. And then Fatu climbs the top rope after the suicide dive. He climbs the top rope and then gives McIntyre a swanton bomb. Fatu does his signature shimmy, but Knight catches him lacking, connects with a BFT. Priest floors Knight with a South of Heaven choke slam. McIntyre strikes with a Claymore that sends a unconscious Priest on the Knight for the pin. 1, 2, McIntyre breaks up the pin just in time. All 4 men are down. This is an awesome moment. This reminded me of the WrestleMania Triple Threat main event for night 1 with with Rollins, Reigns, and CM Punk, where they all hit their finishers and all were down right after, and like it was just an awesome moment to see everybody down after they all gave their best effort. And now continue with the match. McIntyre plants Fatu with a Future Shock DDT. Knight goes for a BFT to McIntyre, but McIntyre reverses that into another Future Shock DDT. McIntyre lands the Claymore to Knight. 1, 2, and Priest at the last second pulls the referee out of the ring. Damian Priest has screwed McIntyre out of another title reign. It goes all the way back to WrestleMania from last year, so this build kind of been brewing for 14 plus months now, and it will continue. Now we got the actual finish of the match. McIntyre and Priest brawl into the crowd. Fatu repeatedly headbutts Knight and goes for a top rope moonsault. This is back inside the ring, but Knight dodges the moonsault. Knight connects with 2 top rope megastar elbows. Fatu kicks out at 2.9 seconds. Priest and McIntyre continue to fight at ringside while Priest trash talks McIntyre and poses for the camera. He does the I'm bored at work phrase. That's hilarious. Shout out to Priest for doing that. That's a callback to McIntyre and Priest's WrestleMania match. McIntyre goes for a superplex, but Priest reverses and delivers a nasty South to Heaven from the top of a platform and through 2 tables at ringside. And this was an awesome spot, but it looked like the back of McIntyre's head hit the concrete. So I hope it wasn't anything too serious, but it looked like McIntyre had a nasty landing here. But of course the crowd popped for this. Now we go back to the ring. McIntyre and McIntyre and Priest are both definitely out for the rest of this match. They're not getting up from that. But back inside the ring, Knight rams Fatu head into the ring post and places him onto the announce table. Knight goes for a megastar elbow drop onto Fatu through the announce table, but Solo Sikoa saves Fatu by moving him out of the way. Knight runs after Solo, but Jeff Cobb makes his debut and takes out LA Knight after staring down Solo and JC. I believe he goes by JC Mateo now. Fatu delivers the moonsault on the Knight for the victory. Now, crowd, of course, awesome during this match, rightfully so. St. Louis, Missouri was where this was. We got Yeah chants during LA Knight's signature moves and during his entrance. We got We Want Table chants, and they got some tables for the Priest and McIntyre spot. Fatu chants when Fatu was wilding out, and then we got This Is Awesome chants. Now, commentary-wise, you got All Gas, No Brakes. Doesn't do you any good when you hit a brick wall. Great line there by Wade Barrett. And then I'm bored at work. I mentioned that as well. That is Priest mocking Drew when they brawled at ringside. Overall, though, I thought this was an amazing match. Drew and Priest South to Heaven spot was crazy. Had plenty great false finishes here. You didn't know who was really finna win. I had my money on Fatu, so I was right there. But this is Fatu's first title defense, and it was an epic one. Drew versus Priest feud looks like it will continue, and that concludes this match. So overall, on a scale of 0 to 5 stars, I'm giving this match an amazing score of 4.70 stars out of 5. Thought this was the best match of the night. Now, we're going on to our next match, which is the match you guys see in the background, the Women's Intercontinental Championship match, and that is Lyra and Becky. Now, this build was Becky taking out Bayley right before WrestleMania, so Becky could get into the WrestleMania picture and have a tag team match where her and Lyra both won tag team titles. They defended their title the next Monday night, right, the following night on Monday Night Raw, and they ended up losing the titles. And after they lost because Lyra was pinned, Becky assaulted Lyra, and that's how you led to this feud for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. And I do like this feud. I feel like this is the first time the women mid-card titles have an actual meaningful build. I like what Chelsea Green was doing character-wise with the United States Championship, but I didn't think any of her matches had great builds or anything like that. I think this Lyra and Becky one, they're actually trying here to build this up into something meaningful. Now, this match started off with Lyra and Becky exchanging some chain wrestling. Now, Lyra ties up Becky in a submission and rocks her back and forth. Lyra puts Becky in a surfboard submission 3 different times. So, surfboard is like, uh, well, you don't know what a surfboard submission is. I can't really explain it to you. But then she rolls over and does this to her 3 different times. So, she's stretching out Becky here. No Diddy. Whoa, wait a minute. Speaking of Diddy, Diddy just got free, but that's a different story. Lyra connects with a bridging Northern Light suplex. This gets a 2 count. Lyra climbs the top rope, but Becky yanks her by the hair off the top rope. Love this by Becky. Becky, being a heel character, gotta do heelish stuff, try to get the crowd to hate you. Becky mauls Lyra in the corner, then lands a back exploder suplex. This gets a 1 count. Becky drops Lyra with a baseball slide, then rams her into the barricade at ringside. Becky trash talks Lyra's fiance. Lyra tries to fight back, but Becky rams Lyra head first into the ring post. Becky goes for a pin, but Lyra kicks out at 2. Becky taunts and smacks Lyra. Lyra retaliates with a fisherman suplex. Lyra mounts her comeback, capped off with a sit-out powerbomb. Becky kicks out at 2. Lyra gives Becky a stalling superplex from the top rope, near fall. And this is a very neat spot, because I never really seen too many stalling superplexes. Normally when you do the superplex, you want to do it in one fluid motion. She held her on the stalling superplex for like a good 2 to 3 seconds before taking her down with the superplex off the top rope. So very good job there by Lyra. I'm not sure that's intentional or not, but that looked very neat. Now, Lyra rolls Becky up, but at the count of 2, Becky reverses into a roll-up of her own. Becky grabs the rope for additional leverage, but the referee sees it and discontinues the count. Becky attempts the manhandle slam, but Lyra counters and tosses Becky out of the ring. Lyra lands on Becky with a slingshot crossbody, then rolls Becky back into the ring to land a top rope leg drop onto the back of Becky's neck. Lyra goes for a pin, but Becky kicks out at 2. Lyra climbs the top rope. She goes for a top rope moonsault, but Becky gets her knees up. Becky and Lyra trade strikes in the center of the ring. Becky transitions into a disarm her. Lyra escapes and applies an armbar. Becky rolls through and reapplies the disarm her. Lyra forces a break by rolling through for a pin. This forces Becky to kick out. Back on their feet, Becky goes for the manhandle slam, but Lyra reverses into a pin. This gets a near fall. I thought this could have been the end of the match on a roll-up. They both get back up, and this time Becky finally delivers the manhandle slam for the 1-2 kick out. Lyra kicks out of the manhandle slam. So she got the disarmer twice and kicks out of a manhandle slam. Becky grabs the steel chair, but the referee yanks the chair away from her. This is not a no disqualification match, so Becky is ready to crash out and just get herself disqualified. She didn't even care anymore. Now, the referee's putting the chair away. That gives Becky enough time to expose the turnbuckle in the corner. Becky tries to send Lyra into the exposed turnbuckle, but Lyra counters and delivers a German suplex and a spinning heel kick. Lyra climbs the top rope, and this time she connects the middle rope moonsault. My bad, she didn't climb the top rope. It's a middle rope moonsault, and that got a near fall. Lyra goes for Nightwing, her finishing move, but Becky escapes and sends Lyra into the turnbuckle, but not the exposed one, so I'm not sure that was a mistake or anything there, but Lyra crashed into the second turnbuckle, not the top turnbuckle that was exposed. Becky delivers another manhandle slam. This gets a near fall. Becky tries to bash Lyra's head into the exposed turnbuckle, but the referee stops her. The referee exits the ring to grab the turnbuckle padding and put it back on. Meanwhile, Becky attempts another manhandle slam, but this is reversed by Lyra, who kicks out with a who connects with Nightwing. The referee was preoccupied, so she got a late start on the count, and this allowed Becky to kick out at 2.99 seconds. The match continues. So 2 manhandle slam kickouts, a moonsault kickout, a Nightwing kickout, some submission escapes, some roll-up kickouts. The match still keeps going on. Now we got the actual finish though. Lyra goes for another Nightwing, but Becky escapes and goes for another manhandle slam attempt. Lyra reverses by going for a pinfall. Becky kicks out at 2. Becky pokes Lyra in the eye, then goes for a roll up. Lyra kicks out at 2. Lyra transitions into her own roll up for the 1, 2, 3. Becky assaults Lyra after the match. Becky locks in to disarm her until security finally pries her away. And that's how the match ended. So I thought this match was amazing until it wasn't. And if you ever seen a movie that I feel like it went on too long and should have ended sooner, I felt like this movie should have did that. So the match ended with a roll-up victory, right? It makes sense. You don't want to. Looks like they're going to continue the feud. I do know they continue the feud, by the way, but it appears that they do want to continue the feud here. I have no problem with that, especially with how great this match was. I don't think any finisher kickout should have happened in this match, and I get to that on my next review. So if you're interested in that one, the next PLE is Money in the Bank. Lyra and Becky part 2 will be in that review, but this match, I thought there was too many finisher kickouts, especially want to end on a roll-up. It should have ended before the first manhandle slam and before the first Nightwing. So it felt like there had been a lot left for part 2 when it comes to the false finishes and the kickouts and stuff like that. But Lyra Valkyria kicking out 2 manhandle slams, I think is kind of nonsensical. 1, I'm like, okay, but 2, in the disarmor, the man Becky Lynch is a multi-time world champion, whatever, one of the biggest stars in the industry. And her finisher, 2 of them, it makes it look weak. Nobody's kicking out 2 Riptides, right? Nobody's kicking out 2 KODs, but 2 manhandle slams people are kicking out of. So I would prefer for this match to end a little bit sooner. I thought it was an amazing match. It just went on a little too long. I thought the false finishes started getting... I think false finishes are great, but when they become kind of unrealistic and nonsensical, I start docking points for it. Overall, though, I still thought it was a great match. Now, of course, the crowd, this is awesome chance. I completely agree. And then commentary-wise, after this performance tonight, Lyra Valkyria has arrived. That was Michael Cole. And you guys remember I did a ranking of all the WWE women's video, tier list for those. And I had Lyra at the bottom of B tier. Because I'm like, they're not giving her a great feud and all that. I think she's a great wrestler, but I'm just not really connecting with her and all that. I think after this match, she has definitely gone up to the top of B tier. Maybe the lower A now. I thought Lyra was phenomenal in this match. I'd probably give her an A- right now. I put her in that A- category right now. She definitely improved herself this match. I think might have been her best match on the roster. And she had some really solid ones. I enjoyed her match, Queen of the Ring finals against Nia Jax. But, like I said, this was a great match. It didn't have all the false finishes, kickouts of finishers and all that. I gave it an amazing score, but had to dock some points there. Overall, I'm giving it a great score, though, still. 4.10 stars out of 5. Now we're going on to our next match, and that is Penta versus Dominik Mysterio. And this was for the Intercontinental Championship, so Dom just won it at Mania. Penta was part of that match in a Fatal 4-Way at Mania. Penta, I believe, defeated Finn Balor, and then that's kind of how he got this IC Championship match. Dom was like, hey, take care of Penta for me. That's what he told Finn to do. Finn, of course, being Finn Balor, wasn't able to do such. Now, let's go ahead and dive into the match, though. Penta delivers a backstabber to Dom. Dom kicks out at 2. Dom hangs Penta on the top rope, drop kicks him out of the ring, then follows it up with a suicide dive tornado DDT. This is picture perfect by the best luchador in the world, the best Mysterio of all time, and the best IC champion ever. Now, Dom rolls Penta back into the ring and connects with a slingshot senton. This gets a 2 count. Dom goes for 3 amigos, but Penta reverses. Dom never really hits 3 amigos. Penta delivers a Mexican destroyer onto Dom on the apron. The Judgment Day intervenes, but they take too long and the referee ejects them before they could do any damage. So, I like the story they're telling here. It seems like the Judgment Day is cracking at the seams and all that. There's some cracks in the armor. They're not on the same page here. Normally the Judgment Day is so great at somebody distracts the referee, the other people do their damage. They were on the same page. The referee caught them and now ejected all of them. They're barred from ringside, so Dom got to go alone here. Now, Penta leaps over the ref and takes out Carlito and JD at ringside. Balor distracts the referee again, though. And El Grande Americano pulls up, and he headbutts Penta with the loaded mask. Dom soars off the top rope with a frog splash for the 1-2-3. Wasn't really feeling this match. I won't lie to you. Crowd wasn't feeling it, especially after those previous two matches. This is a really short match. Commentary wise, Wade Barrett called Liv Morgan Baby Cakes. Now, I think that's just the greatest nickname forever. So shout out to Baby Cakes Liv Morgan. That's her new nickname. Cody Rhodes, the American Nightmare. Liv Morgan, your Baby Cakes. Now, there's another line that Wade Barrett said. Have you been drinking, Cole? That's not Chad Gable. That's El Grande Americano. So I love how they're doing the Chad Gable, El Grande Americano stuff. At first, I kind of mixed about it. Kind of like, I really want Chad Gable to get the push, but we'll talk more about that later with Chad Gable and El Grande Americano. I think the possibilities here are endless. It kind of reminds me of the Ezekiel and Elias storylines, but they can be more flexible with it. So we'll get to that later in some upcoming reviews. So stay tuned for that. But overall, memorability, emotional investment for this match. Wasn't really feeling it. Dom's first title defense, or maybe second. I think he might have fought Penta on a Monday Night Raw or something. I can't remember, but the matches just blurred together. They fought so many times that this one was just the same as the other ones. I give it an average score of 2.5 stars out of 5. Now, we're going on to our next match, and that was Gunther taking on Pat McAfee. Now, the build for this was Gunther was getting mocked for tapping out at Mania to Jey Uso. Michael Cole, Pat, they were over there talking trash, you know. They're pulling a Stephen A. Smith. Now, the problem is, LeBron ain't really about that life, but Gunther is, you feel me? So, if you talking reckless, he gonna pull up and put some hands on you. And that's exactly what Gunther did. He took his frustration out on Michael Cole. Pat stepped up, he defended Cole. Gunther locked in the sleeper hold onto Pat, had that man in the sleeper hold for like a good minute and some change. And then that pretty much led to them having a match upcoming later on. So all this happened on the Monday Night Raw after Mania. Everybody was making fun of Gunther for losing and tapping out. Gunther said, all right, bet, say less. So the stakes here are pretty much Cole. I think Cole did a solid job trying to explain his position on here. He said he's going to be biased, which he normally is, but this is at least the first time he admitted it. So good step there, Michael Cole. You know, the stages of grief and all that. Denial is one of the things and all that. He's normally in denial. He's normally biased, but nevertheless, he said he's going to be super biased on this match. And he said the commentators should be free and able to speak their mind without having to worry about the competitors assaulting them for saying whatever they believe and all that. All right, it makes sense. I understand. And let's go ahead and do a free speech thing in 2025. Why not? Okay, so let's go ahead and dive into this match, though. Gunther versus Pat McAfee. It starts off with Gunther patting Pat on the head, and that mockery infuriates Pat. So Pat tries to springboard over the top rope, but he slips. He gets back up, then he starts hitting Gunther with a series of right hands. He runs off the ropes, tries to clothesline Gunther, but he runs into a full speed right into a Gunther chop. It sits Pat down on his hindquarters. Now Gunther allows Pat to fight back, and even allows Pat to deliver some knife-edge chops of his own. Gunther's not fighting back. He's telling Pat, show me what you got. Gunther drops Pat with one chop. Them Gunther pork chops be doing damage. I kid you not. They hit like a pump shotgun off of Fortnite. You know, post-patch, because, you know, pre-patch, they giving you 9 damage. But that's a different story. Now, Gunther assaults Pat in the corner. Pat hulks up and trades chops with Gunther. There go chop for chop. Gunther drops Pat with a big boot this time. Now, Pat slaps Gunther. So Gunther, that infuriates him. He responds with a German suplex. Gunther then applies the sleeper hold. But Pat escapes that and eats another German suplex for his trouble. Pat wasn't around to commentate during the Brock Lesnar days, Suplex City. But he has just got introduced to Suplex City here. Now, Gunther tries to avalanche German suplex Pat. That's because they're both on the top rope, so think of like a super German suplex. But Pat fights him off with a series of back elbows. Pat goes for a top rope moonsault, but Gunther evades it and goes for another German suplex. This time, Pat lands on his feet and delivers a series of kicks to Gunther. Gunther kicks out at 1. Pat and Gunther exchange strikes in the center of the ring. Pat delivers 2 super kicks to Gunther, but Gunther catches the third super kick, and then power bombs Pat. Gunther doesn't go for the cover. He locks in the Boston Crab submission. Cole then leaves the announce table and goes to ringside to encourage Pat. Now we got the actual finish. Gunther drags Cole into the ring and was about to powerbomb him, but Pat saves Cole by super kicking Gunther. Pat goes for a roll-up victory. Gunther kicks out at 2. Gunther tries to suplex Pat into the ring, but Cole grabs Gunther's foot. This allows Pat to counter the suplex immediately into a cover. Cole holds down Gunther's foot, making it tough for him to kick out. Gunther kicks out at 2.99 seconds. I said, oh my goodness. If Gunther would have lost this way, I don't even want to know what happened to Cole, Pat, any commentator for the next few weeks. Oh my goodness. I thought they were going to give this man Gunther the Drew McIntyre storyline where he's just going to crash out on everybody. He can't buy a win or anything. This kick out was epic. I kid you not. Now Gunther stares down Michael Cole. Okay, he knows what he did. This allows Pat to apply a sleeper hold of his own. Gunther escapes that and turns Pat inside out with a clothesline. Playtime's over. Gunther locks in the sleeper hold in the center of the ring. Pat tries to fight back, but he eventually passes out after being in the sleeper hold for nearly a minute. And the interesting thing about the sleeper hold, there was no arm raise. And I'm going to talk about this. Well, I'm going to talk about it in a future video because like I said, I'm all the way caught up on all the PLEs. But after the match, Gunther shows respect towards Pat and Cole, and Pat McAfee passed out. But the referee didn't raise Pat McAfee's arm and then give him the referee drops it and then you make a fist. That means you're still fighting. If the arm hits the ground, the referee can ring the bell, say the match is over, you're unconscious, whatever. But there's also times where you see a wrestler, the referee do it 3 times. I'm like, how do you allow somebody to do it 3 times? Then sometimes you only do it 1 time. In this case, you don't do it a single time. I don't know what all this is about. But what I do know, that is garbage about this match. Gunther tapped out to Jey Uso in 3 seconds. And one thing I said I didn't like about the Jey Uso match whatsoever. Pat McAfee's in the sleeper hold for a full minute. And Gunther is a submission specialist. This is his finishing move. Where you compare it to somebody like Jey Uso. Knock on Jey Uso. He's not a submission specialist. This is a finishing move. So the fact Jey Uso could make somebody tap out in 3 seconds in his sleeper is somebody that's champion caliber like Gunther. But Gunther can't make Pat McAfee tap out in 1 minute when there's no title on the line and Pat McAfee isn't championship caliber. I kind of do think it's bad. I also think this match went on way too long. And I also don't like how this match really didn't have too many repercussions. And what I mean by that is, Pat McAfee showed up to Monday Night Raw, if I'm not mistaken, a couple days after this match. Where now I haven't seen Pat McAfee in a while on Monday Night Raw. It seems like Corey Graves might have got his job back. I don't know what's going on with Pat or whatever the case may be. But I am a Corey Graves guy myself. I thought this would have been a great way to have Pat McAfee get written off TV. You're going to bring back Corey Graves and then have Pat be on TV for a while. Because now in the PLEs, it seems like it's Wade Barrett and Michael Cole. And there's no Pat McAfee either. So, I thought they should have had Pat McAfee get written off, like get stretchered off, whatever. Had Gunther just end this man's career, per se, or whatever the case may be. But they go this way. Gunther respects him after. So, I do think Pat McAfee will be back, without a doubt. But we'll have to see. Overall, though, this match, before I go into the match, my bad. Before I give the grade, let's go and go to the crowd real quick. So, we got some Let's Go Pat chants. We got the You Tapped Out chants. Those are directed at Gunther. We got a whole bunch of woos for all the chaps. I said chaps. All the chops in the match, right? You know, the fan, every time you hear a chop, they make that woo sound, Nature Boy style. And we got Michael Cole chants for when Michael Cole left ringside. So they're chanting for Michael Cole even. Commentary, for the first time in my career, I'm going to be very biased here tonight. That's my Cole. I kind of talked about that one earlier. I thought that was a hilarious line. Like, Cole, you always been biased. Wade Barrett even had a line like, "You're normally kissing John Cena's backside or whatever." That's like at WrestleMania, perhaps. Michael Cole always been biased in my opinion, but I thought it was funny how he finally admitted to it. And then Cole did a great job saving Pat McAfee. He said that's the experience. That's the inexperience of McAfee. And Cole said that after Pat slipped off the top rope, he tried to cover for his partner there. That's kind of an embarrassing moment. But at least Pat got up fast enough where it wasn't too bad looking. Uh, Now, Cole said another great line. What does any of this prove, right? And that was with Gunther just being up Pat. I'm like, what did any of this prove? Did this have to be a match on Monday Night Raw? Did this have to be, I mean, not Monday Night Raw. This could have been a match on Monday Night Raw, in my opinion. Did it have to be a PLE match? When you got so many champions on the roster that can never get a spot on the PLE, and now you put Gunther and Pat McAfee here. If I'm a WWE talent, I'm like, I'm a champion, and I can't get on the roster to save my life. But you're going to put this non-title match here between Gunther and a commentator over any tag team title matches or anything like that. I think it's kind of odd. And then I also think the commentary went off the rails completely when it just Wade Barrett for the last 5 to 10 minutes of the match. When Michael Cole left, I hear Wade Barrett just yap for like non-stop 5-10 minutes straight. I'm like, oh no, make it stop. And I like Wade Barrett a lot, but I just thought it was too much yapping for one person. Now, memorability, this should have been a squash match in my opinion. This should have not been a PLE match, like I said. And I talked about the Gunther stuff, but overall, I thought the wrestlers did do a great job storytelling-wise. This makes it tough to grade this match because there's a lot of things that this match shouldn't. I'm going to give it a slightly below average, 2.40 stars. I think the wrestlers, Pat McAfee and Gunther, told a great story. And it's tough because I try not to get my biases in the way. But this should have not been this type of match, in my opinion. This should have been a real quick and easy match. But it is what it is. Now, we're going on to our main event. And I'd like to apologize because I've been yapping for so much. I do have another match in the background, so the matches are kind of out of order. And that's okay. But I didn't expect for yap this long. I was like, all right. Probably try to reduce my yapping to 30 minutes or so, but here we are. We're yapping for 40 minutes. So I got the Dom and Penta match for you guys in the background. But now we're going on to the main event. John Cena versus Randy Orton. And this build, long history between these two Hall of Famers. One last time in Randy Orton's hometown. This time, Cena is the heel. Randy is the babyface. So, like Randy Orton said, it's a bizarre world. But here we are. Stakes, WWE Universal Championship. The future of wrestling. John Cena wants to ruin wrestling. Can Randy Orton save it? He's a third generation superstar. If wrestling is ended, ruined, he's going to fail his whole entire family. So here we are. The match starts off with Cena offering Randy Orton a handshake. Orton goes for it. Cena pokes him in the eye. Right after that, Randy Orton returns the favor, and then he pokes John Cena in the eye. That's one thing I do like about Randy Orton. Although he's a face right now in this part of his career, he has no problem doing some heel or dirty tactics if needed. He goes right back for the eye poke. Now, Cena rolls out of the ring. Cena begins to leave the arena. Randy chases him up the ramp and sends him back into the ring. Back inside, Cena gets up and he clotheslines Randy. Then he puts Randy in the corner and gives Randy 7 punches. Now, Orton returns the favor, and then he gives John Cena 20 punches in the corner. Now, the interesting thing about all of this is the referee doesn't count for any of these. When you got your opponent stacked in the corner like that, the referee's supposed to be counting, hey, get down from there. 1, 2. Now, they normally count slow and let you get the punches in. The referee just going to let this man John Cena take 20 punches to the head. And I'm like, ref, if I'm the ref, if I'm John Cena, I'm very mad right now. This is very biased. This is why John Cena is ruining wrestling. These referees have been awful for how long? They're worse than MLB umpires. Now, Randy delivers a European uppercut, and then he goes for a cover, but of course John Cena kicks out at 2. Randy does his panda stomp to all of Cena's body parts. I haven't seen this move in a minute. Then Randy goes for a pin. Cena kicks out at 2 again. Cena Irish whips Randy off the ropes, then applies sleeper hold. Randy Irish whips Cena off the ropes, then applies a sleeper hold. And they do this about 3 more times. Then Randy breaks free of the sleeper hold by landing a back suplex. Both men are down. Cena gets up and he mounts his signature offense. You know, the 5 moves of doom, the shoulder tackles, and then he caps that off with a 5 knuckle shuffle. And he actually did it at his normal pace now, which I thought was way better than at Mania where he did it dirt slow. I hated it at Mania. I'm glad he probably took some feedback from that and did it much faster now. Now Cena goes for an AA, but Randy escapes, and then Randy begins to mount his comeback, and he caps that off with a scoop power slam. Randy goes for the middle rope DDT, but Cena escapes that and goes for a roll up. Orton kicks out at 2. Cena transitions into the STF submission. Randy kicks Cena off of him, then lands the draping DDT right over the middle rope, the patented Randy Orton, or the vintage Randy Orton, I should say. Randy then coils into position. He's going for the RKO. Cena escapes that and goes for an AA. Randy counters the AA into an RKO. One of my favorite RKO counters every time I see it. Both wrestlers are down. Orton and Cena begin to trade strikes in the center of the ring. Cena wins the exchange by landing an AA from out of nowhere. Randy kicks out at 2. Cena goes for another AA, but Randy escapes. Cena goes for a signature offense. He lands 1 shoulder tackle. He goes for the second shoulder tackle, but Randy catches him in midair for an RKO. And you actually go look at this. Cena normally lands the shoulder tackles running left to right on your screen. He runs horizontal. But after he landed the first one running left to right, he went vertical, right? So he went to the top rope. Well, he went to the north side rope right on your screen. Hit that rope, bounced off for the second shoulder tackle, and it was perfect camera angle work because it looked like he got 3D RKO'd in 3D. He took the 3 most dangerous letters in 3D. He was running right towards the camera while he caught it. It was perfect cinematography there. You could tell they planned that out. But Randy Orton is unfortunately too damaged to go for the cover, so they are both down. Randy gets back up. Now he decides to go for the punt, but Cena evades it and connects with another AA. This gets a near fall. Cena coils into position and goes for a punt kick of his own, but Randy avoids it. Randy goes for an RKO, but Cena prevents it by pushing Randy Orton off. Randy collides into the referee and knocks out the referee. Cena connects with another AA, but the referee is down, so nobody's there to count. Cena shh to the crowd. He's trying to be sneaky. He's hunting rabbits. Cena grabs the championship belt at ringside and goes back into the ring to bash Randy's head with it. But Randy strikes with an RKO from out of nowhere. The referee slowly recovers and counts the pin. Cena kicks out at 2. Randy clears off the announce table. The referee tries to talk some sense into Randy, but Cena pushes Randy into the referee, knocking him out a second time. This time the referee collided into the steel steps. He will be out for a while. Cena rams Randy's head off the ring post. Cena goes to AA Randy through the announce table, but Randy escapes and delivers an AA of his own onto the announce table. This breaks the announce table, but it is a delayed break. So I don't know what exactly happened. It didn't break right away, and then it broke a little bit later, the reinforced announce table. So it didn't break right away. You could tell it kind of was meant to. But Cena's laid out. Randy goes, he looks under the ring. He brings out a table. The crowd was chanting, "We want tables." Randy Orton was happy to oblige here. This isn't a no disqualification match, but since the referee's down, Randy said, "Let's get the tables out." Randy gives Cena another AA through the table, then drinks a prime energy drink at ringside before throwing Cena back into the ring. Now we got the actual finish. Randy coils into position and actually hits the RKO after pounding on the mat. It seemed like every time Shawn Michaels tuned up the band, Randy Orton pounded on the mat. They never connected with the finisher move right there. They had to hit it out of nowhere. Randy Orton actually coiled in position, pounded the mat, and hit the RKO. A new referee came down. He made his way into the ring, but was a few seconds too late. This allowed Cena to kick out. So Cena turning into Super Cena here. Kick out 2 AAs through tables and an RKO. That's Super Cena right there. Now, Randy complains to the ref. This allows Cena to grab the championship title belt. He tries to bash Randy Orton in the head with it, but Randy dodges, causing Cena to hit the referee instead. Randy strikes with another RKO, but there's still no referee to count. Nick Aldis and a bunch of employees run out to check on the unconscious official. Randy RKO's everybody in the ring. Now Randy goes for the punt kick to Cena, but R-Truth runs in. He begs and he pleads for Randy not to punt his childhood hero John Cena. R-Truth gets hit with an RKO for his troubles. Cena then low blows Randy, then bashes Randy in the head with the championship title. An unconscious referee finally regains consciousness and slowly counts the 1, 2, 3 for Cena's victory. Cena grabs the mic, trash talks the fans, and then leaves. That's how the show went off the air. Love this match. The Randy Orton RKO barrage. I think gave out like 10 RKOs, which is awesome to see. 10 RKOs in his hometown. The crowd was enjoying all of it. And speaking of the crowd, got a whole bunch of Randy chants for the hometown hero. We got sing along during his entrance. One of the best entrance themes in the business, in my opinion. Great to see everybody singing along to it. We got John Cena suck chants during John Cena's entrance. We also got a bunch of Let's Go Cena's and Cena suck chants. We got You Can't Wrestle, Yes He Can chants. Those were directed at John Cena. We got This Is Awesome chants, and We Want Table chants. Commentary-wise, I thought Cole did a great job reading off the history and the accolades between these two competitors. I don't have any other notes really commentary-wise for these guys as in memorable quotes, but I thought they did a great job this match. But this probably will be the last time Orton and Cena face each other in the ring. And it is a great last match in my opinion. Amazing way to go out. I didn't really like the R-Truth ending. Now that did lead to some stuff later on. R-Truth getting a Saturday night main event. R-Truth getting, well, I can talk about the main event match. That's whatever. But R-Truth getting released and then getting signed back to the company. There's a lot of stuff there with the R-Truth stuff going on. But didn't really like the R-Truth part. I won't lie to you. But everything else I really did like. I don't know how much I'm a doc for the R-Truth finish. But I am finna give it a truly great match. I do like Orton and Cena a lot every time they get together. Sometimes they have some bad matches. Sometimes they have some good ones. I thought this is definitely a really good one. I'm gonna give it a truly great score. I'm feeling a little generous. I'm gonna go 4.25 stars out of 5 here for this match. Now that will conclude this video. So I started recording this on Saturday, and now it's Monday. College football is about to come out, and I think I might upload it now on Monday. I might wait till Wednesday. I'm not sure exactly, but you're still here watching. I appreciate you guys so much. Bear with me, right? I know I've been on a hiatus. I enjoyed the hiatus, but I knew I gotta get back to making these videos for you guys. I don't have many subs. So I don't do this for a job or anything like that, but the subs I do have, I am thankful for, grateful for. I want to keep making content for you guys, even though this definitely doesn't pay well. It actually doesn't pay at all. That's a different story. If you're a sub or thinking about subscribing, please do. It means a lot to me. But furthermore, leave a comment. You made it this far in the video. Just leave a comment in general. I like reading comments. I try to respond to all of them. I don't get that many, so each one definitely does mean a lot to me. And as always, thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope to see you guys on the next one. The next one will be another WWE video, and I'm recording the gameplay right now. It will be Money in the Bank. So, if you're interested in that, and not a champion, stay tuned for the upcoming weeks. I hope to get those videos out for you then. And then we also got Evolution right around the corner. So a lot of stuff we got to get to watch here. Should be a very fun week.